Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Lift and Yap, except this week I'm not lifting, I'm just sat in my in the living room. I feel like it's a bit of a linear regression here because it's supposed to be Lift and Yap. Last week I was at the gym and I didn't train, and this week I didn't even go to the gym. Well, I did go to the gym, but just didn't record this because I was there. So today I want to talk about the argument that lifting weights is going to make you slower. So this is an argument I see a lot of people make, in that if you lift weights, so if you do things like squat, bench and deadlift, it's going to make you slower because you have to move slow at top weights in squat, bench and deadlift. And one of the main kind of arguments people will make is, if you look at a power lifter, they're not fast, so therefore squat, bench and deadlift is bad for you. And this doesn't make sense for a couple of reasons. Number one being, you're saying that powerlifters are slow, but you never actually see a powerlifter sprint, so you can't say that they're slow. And two, you're trying to attribute them not being good at something that they don't train to the fact that they do something else, rather than the fact that they don't train that. That's equivalent of me saying that the reason that powerlifters aren't good at badminton isn't because they don't play badminton, it's because they do squat, bench and deadlift. That just makes literally no sense. So that's a non-starter, that doesn't make any sense. Second of all, in sprinting, you need to produce a lot of force in order to go fast, and something that can help you improve your capabilities in terms of producing force, squat, bench and deadlift. Another reason this makes no sense is that in team sports, field sports, contact sports, most of the time you need to have some sort of level of strength, and the only way you're really going to improve your strength is through doing heavy compound lifts. So even if squat, bench and deadlift was going to make you just neutral, it wasn't going to improve your speed at all, it's still worth doing them. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you need to turn into a powerlifting monster and try and deadlift 200 kilos, squat 180 and try and bench 150. I'm not saying that squat, bench and deadlift and the heavy compound movements are the be all and end all, but they're definitely important. They're particularly important if you are someone who isn't very strong. I think that strength training, particularly heavy compound movements, are one of the things that if you're weak, they're going to make a massive difference to your game very, very quickly. For me with these things, it's always about trying to balance and figure out what you need to improve and what is going to help you improve those qualities. So if you are someone who's super strong, then maybe doing loads of squat, bench and deadlift and adding 5 kilos to each isn't necessarily what's going to transfer to the pitch and make you faster. It might be that doing an extra sprint session, so doing 2 or 3 a week, that's for me anyways, that's going to be far more potent a stimulus, far more bang for your buck in terms of improving your speed. But if you're someone who's already relatively fast, you're sprinting maybe once, twice a week, and you're feeling that, even though I'm doing these sprint sessions, I'm not really getting any faster, well, adding in a bit of strength training is 100% going to make a difference. I think for me, all you need to do is look at just how strong the top sprinters in the world are. Like, I seen a video the other day of Noah Lyles power cleaning 120 kilos. You don't power clean 120 kilos if you can't squat at least 120 kilos. Does that make sense? So he needs to have a high level of maximum force in order to power clean 120 kilos in order to become an Olympic medalist and Olympic gold medalist in the 100 metre sprint. So therefore that tells me improving strength is important when it comes to speed. And I'm not necessarily going to get into the movement pattern side of it because it's not something that I think is massively important, but squat and deadlift in particular both increase the strength and size of muscles that you really need when you sprint. So if you look at sprinters, they've all got massive glutes. And what is one thing you always feel when you do your back squat and your deadlift? It's your glutes. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that squat, bench and deadlift is going to be the key to you going to the Olympics in the 100 metre sprint. It's definitely not. But if you're weak, it's 100% something you can make use of and utilise. And for me, the main point that you should be looking at, and the thing that should 100% sell you on this, is when you look at rugby and American football players. So for instance, I seen a video the other day of Saquon Barkley box squatting 575 pounds, I think it was, for a double, which I'm not 100% sure what that is in kilos, maybe around 250, 260. So massive weights. And all you need to do is look at how quick he is when he plays, and you can't tell me that him having that amount of force, being able to move that amount of weight, is negatively affecting his speed. I can almost guarantee if you took his back squat from 575, again whatever that is in kilos, down to 100 kilos, there is no way on earth he would be as quick as he is. And again, in your training, you should still be making use of Olympic lifts, plyometrics, sprint training. These things they all kind of work together in order to make you faster. It's not just like what you do one thing and that's you're going to be like Usain Bolt. Like, you need to be kind of ticking off the force element, the force output, the rate of force development, and like your sprint technique and things like that. So yeah, hopefully this has made sense, guys. Hopefully you take a little bit from this and understand that if you want to be an American football player, if you want to be a rugby player, even if you want to just play like a sport where strength isn't a massive factor, like football or badminton or whatever, but they still play a little bit of a part. You need to be doing your strength training. It's not going to make you slower, and particularly if you're weak, it's going to have a massive benefit on the amount of force you can output, and in the end, how fast you can go. Just kind of the main takeaway is that, if you're not doing any strength training and you want to get faster, it's going to be a massive help for you. So thank you for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.